Hi everybody, it's Crystal. Now today I'm going to show you how to make this bag here, which is made with the star stitch, and it's worked in a round. And I know if you've watched other videos of other YouTubers making the star stitch in the round, everybody does it different. So this is how I do it. So this is the way I do it. So it's probably going to be different than the way you've seen it before. And I used about 550 yards of, I don't have the skein anymore, but I can show you on my phone here. It's sugar and cream. You can see that. It's a 100% 4-ply cotton yarn. You don't have to use cotton. You can use acrylic. I just chose cotton because I think it's a little stronger. But the color I used is called Queen Anne's Lace, but of course you can use any color that you want. Like I said, about 550 yards or so, because it's a little bit bigger of a bag than what I usually make. And I used a size I, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, first we're going to start on the base of the bag. And the base of the bag it's real easy. It's just rows of single crochet. You want to start with a chain of 45. I already did my base, so I'm going to show you on a smaller scale. But once you get your chain of 45, you want to put a single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, and then one single crochet in every stitch for the length of your chain. Okay, when you make it to the end of your row, you should have 44 single crochets. So you want to chain one and turn. That chain one does not count as anything. So we're going to go right back here in the very first stitch and single crochet. And now we're just going to again do one single crochet in every stitch. And this is all the base is. This is rows of single crochet. Back and forth, and you should have 44 single crochets at the end of every row. Let me make it to the end here. And again, when you make it to the end, you want to just chain one and turn. And again, you just start again with this very first stitch with one single crochet in every stitch for the length of the row. And you want to do a total of 18 rows of one single crochet in every stitch. Okay, once you get your 18 rows done, now what you want to do is chain one, and now we're going to work around it with the row of single crochet. So I'm going to start my first single crochet right here in the same stitch as this last one, like that. And I'm going to put one single crochet in every stitch down this side here. You want to make sure that since we had 18 rows, that you get the correct number of stitches. Let's see. And right here in this last stitch, which is my 18th stitch. It's actually the other side of the beginning chain. I'm going to put 2 single crochets right there. Now I'm going to work down this long side, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. Just like this. So basically I'm just putting 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I'm putting 2 single crochets in the corners, in each of the 4 corners. So I'm just going to continue putting 1 single crochet down here. Oh, my yarn's tingling. Down this long side, and then I'll put 2 in the corner, and then 1 single crochet up the short side, 2 in the corner, and then all the way back to my starting point. Okay, I made it back around to my starting point, and here's my last stitch. I want to go ahead and put 2 single crochets in that last stitch. Right here. And then I'll show you what you want to do. Slip stitch. You want to slip stitch in the first single crochet, which is that we did in that round, which is actually this one right here. This is the single crochet from this row up here, so it doesn't count. So we're going to slip stitch into this one, and then when you count this one right here, this is from the other row. So this one is the first one we did. You should have a total of 126 stitches, single crochets all the way around, like that. And that's the base, so it's made. And now we're going to work on the star stitches. So we're just going to continue along. We're not going to tie off or anything. Okay, I'm going to continue on the star stitches, and I'm going to chain 1. Okay, that chain 1 doesn't count as anything, okay? So I'm going to go back into the exact same stitch and draw up a loop. Like that. And I'm going to draw up a loop in the next 4 stitches. That. And the next one. And the next one. And the next one. And when you do that, you should have 6 loops on your hook. And I do. And I'm going to yarn over and go through all 6 of the loops that are on my hook. And I'm going to chain 1. So that's the first star. Now I'm going to make the next one. This is kind of how they all get made now. You go right back in to the eye, or the center of the star, and you draw up a loop from that. Like that. And now this next loop right here, go kind of in the back side of it. So this loop is still visible, so just like right back here. The back side of this loop. So right there. And then you draw up a loop. And now you're going to draw up a loop in this next stitch, which is actually the same stitch that this loop was drawn up in. Like that. And now we're going to draw up a loop in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and again you'll have 6 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 6 and chain 1 to lock it. Just like that. Now we're going to go again. So we're going to repeat that again. So I'm going to go right back into the eye and drop a loop. Now I'm going to go into, see this last loop right here? This one. I'm going to go on the back side of it. So if you flip it, you should see this small loop right here. And grab it. It's kind of tight, but, and drop a loop. And the next one is I'm going to drop a loop in this stitch, which is actually the same stitch that this loop was drawn up in from the previous star. And then drop a loop in the next 2 stitches. 6 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through all 6 and chain 1. So that's how we make the star stitch. And I'm just going to continue making these stars all the way around. Again, I'm going to go right back into the eye of the loop. And then this loop of the star, I'm going to do the back side of it, the back loop of it, which is right back here. It's kind of tight, but right there. And draw up a loop. And then the next stitch is this stitch down here that this last loop of the previous star was in. And then the next 2 stitches, draw up a loop like that. 6 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through all 6 loops, chain 1. Now I'm going to do that all the way around, just star stitches until I get back to the beginning. So again, back in that same spot, draw up a loop. This last loop, the back loop of it, which is right back here, that one right there, and draw up a loop. And then this stitch, which is the same stitch as the previous star, and then the next 2. 6 loops, yarn over, go through all 6, and chain 1. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around. Just keep doing my stars until I get back to the beginning. And they'll get easier once you continue to do them. And I'm just going to go around the corner, just doing star stitches around the corner. That back loop is the hardest one to get. It's so tight, but once you get around, you'll notice that maybe it's going to starts to flip up a little bit to form the sides of the bag, and that's what you want. So I'm just going to continue doing my stars all the way around here until I get back to my first star. Okay, I'm coming to my last star that I can do here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to end it here. Go into the eye and the back loop of that. The same stitch as this one, and then the next 2 stitches, which you can tell there's only going to be 1 stitch left right here. This is the first stitch right here, that chain 1 and stuff that we did in the very beginning. So there's 1 stitch left, and that's right, that's like how it's supposed to be. So you go into it and draw up a loop, but you need to have 6 loops on your hook, so you go right into the same stitch that our very first star stitch started in, and that will be that'll make your last loop there and finish that star out. Like that. And now to end it, the round, we're going to slip stitch right here in the first loop of this star, of the very first star, and then that ends the round. Okay, on this next row, technically when you do the star stitch like by the books, is done with single crochet on this next row. But I don't like to always do things by the book. It's no fun that way. So I'm going to do a little bit different. I like to actually do this round with half double. I think it looks better that way. So what you're going to do is where we just slip stitched, we're going to chain one, and that chain one does not count as anything at all. But we're going to go right back into that slip stitch, and we're going to put 2 half double crochets. So there's 1 and 2. Now we're going to work 2 half double crochets in every single one of the eyes all the way around. Right here is the only time that we put 2 half doubles that's not an eye, just at the beginning. We have to do that to make the stitches work out. So now I'm going to jump over here to the eye of the next star and put 2 half doubles. And then the next eye of the star, 2 half doubles. And the next eye, 2 half doubles. And I'm going to repeat this, putting 2 half doubles in every single one of the star's eyes all the way around until I get back to my starting point. And when you get back to your starting point, you should have 126 half double crochets. Okay, I made it all the way around here, and getting ready to put my last 2 half double crochets right here in the last eye of this star. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see, but it's that one right there. And I counted, and I do have 126 half doubles, so I'm good to go to start the next round. And now it's just kind of a repeat now of a star row and a half double crochet row, a star row and a half double crochet row. But we're just going to go ahead and slip stitch and do our first half double to end that round. And now we'll start our star row again. So we're going to start by chaining 1. That chain 1 does not count as anything. So go right back into that same stitch, drop a loop, and drop a loop in the next 4 stitches. So you'll have 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through all 6 loops, chain 1. Again, I'm going to start my next star by going through the eye of the star, the back loop of this one, so right back here, drop a loop, the next stitch that is the same one as that loop, and then the next 2. 6 loops, yarn over, go through all 6, chain 1, and that is what I'm going to do all the way around. Just make my star row again. It'll start getting easier the more you do. So I'm just going to work my way around now, doing my star row again. And I'll have a total of 62 stars again at the end of this row. Just like I did before. There we go. So I'm going to go around and I'll meet you back over here. Okay, I'm coming up to my last star here. I'm just going to go ahead and work it here. And remember, we're only going to have 1 stitch left. But the last loop of the star is going to go into the first loop of this first star. So in the same stitch. I know it looks like that's a stitch, but that's not a stitch. That's the slip stitch from the other round. So right here in the same spot as this one. And draw through all the loops. Chain 1. And then we're going to slip stitch and the right here on the side of this star, and then we're going to start the next round of half doubles right here in the same spot. So we just chain 1 and we go ahead and put 2 half doubles right back in that same stitch. And remember, that is the only spot that gets 2 half doubles that's not the eye. And then we jump right here to the eye of the next star. We do 2 half doubles. And the eye of the next star, 2 half doubles. And the eye of the next star, 2 half doubles. And we're just going to keep going around repeating these 2 rows, the star row and the half double row, for as tall as we want the bag to be. Okay, I went ahead and finished as tall as I want mine to be. Now remember, you can make yours taller, you just might need more yarn than what I said in the beginning, but I went ahead and did from the very first star row, counting the star rows and the half double crochet rows, I did 19. Let me count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And I ended in a star row. So now I'm going to start row 20. And I went ahead and I just slip stitched into that beginning star like we did. Now instead of doing a row of half double crochets, I'm actually going to do single crochet this row. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and I'm going to go back in that same stitch and put 2 single crochets like that. And now for each eye of the star, it'll be 2 single crochets this time. So it's just like the half double row, putting them in the eyes of the stars, only we're just using single crochets this time. And this is just going to finish the top of the bag off before we put the handles on. And when you get back around, you should still have 126 single crochets. Okay, when you make it all the way around, after that round of single crochet, and you have 126 single crochets, you want to go ahead and slip stitch into your very first one, not the chain 1, but the single crochet. And then you're going to clip this and tie it off, and you can hide that tail if you want. Then we'll go ahead and get started on the handles. Okay, now I'm marking off for the handles. So you're going to need 8 stitch markers. I'm just going to use this yarn that I have. Now we'll find where we left off. Right here is where we left off, where we tied off. Now I'm going to count over, starting with the one that we left off, 28 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Now I'm going to put a stitch marker. Then I'm going to continue counting. 29, 30, 31, 32. Put a stitch marker. And I'm just going to continue counting. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, put a stitch marker. 52, 53, 54, 55, put a stitch marker. Okay, continue counting. 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, put a stitch marker. 92, 93, 94, 95, put a stitch marker. Continue counting. 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 114, put a stitch marker. 115, 116, 117, 118, put a stitch marker. And then we're at 119, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 126. That was all 126 stitches. So that is where we were going to put our handles, in between these stitch markers. So actually you should have, if you look here, 35 stitches between these stitch markers and 35 between this side, and then in the middle you should have 18 here and 18 here. So that equals 126 with 5 taken up in between. So that's what you should have. And now for the handles. If you want to make long or short handles, it's completely up to you. You can even buy handles, but for mine, I'm just going to make some basic handles here. I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side, and I'm going to start off, but I want to start with a longer tail, that way I can sew it onto my handle later with a slip knot. Now I'm going to make my chain for as long as I want my handle to be, so I'm just going to start chaining. Okay, I went ahead and chained 62, but remember you can do yours however long or short you want. But you want to make both handles the same. So after you get your chain done, you want to go ahead and half double crochet in the 3rd stitch from the hook. We don't count this one, so 1, 2, 3. And the handles are going to be real easy. I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. Just like this. All the way to the end. And then when you make it to the end, I'm just going to chain 1 and turn. Starting in this very first stitch, I'm going to half double. And I'm going to work my way back down, putting 1 half double crochet in every stitch again. Just like this, all the way back to the other side. Okay, when you come to the end here, you want to make sure you go into this little last chain here. It kind of counts as a stitch, so I guess it doesn't really matter because you're not really going to be able to see that. But then go ahead and tie this off, but leave a longer tail on this one too, so we can sew it on. So what you want to do now is get your yarn needle out and sew it on with our yarn needle in between these stitch markers here. So just kind of take your tail here and put it on the yarn needle. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just kind of sew it. If there's a side of the handle you like better, have the good side facing up. I'm just going to kind of sew it right in between the stitches, like that. Maybe just down just a little bit here, so you can see. I'll put it just a little bit, like that, hanging over. And then I'm just going to sew it onto the bag, right in between. Kind of through the top here. That way it's not going to be exactly in between, but as you can see, I just use them to kind of mark, so you can kind of get it kind of right, kind of even, I guess, but it doesn't have to be exact. But oh, I got my stitch marker in there. You can move these stitch markers now if you want, on that side of the handle anyways. But you want to sew it good and tight, so go across it quite a few times. Just sewing it like this. That's what I'm doing. If you have another way though, whatever works best for you, but this is always how I do it. Just to make sure it's good. It's not going to fall off. Keep going back and forth on it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just going to bring it over and use the tail and sew it the same way in between these two stitch markers like that. So this handle will be done, and then I'll make the other handle and do the back the same way. Okay, I finished sewing on my handles, and that is it. That is all there is to it. It turned out pretty good. I hope you were able to follow along okay. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to check me out on Facebook. And for written patterns and stuff, I have them on Etsy. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. And until next time, have a good day.